former Morehouse College student has accused the all-male, historically black college of ignoring his accusations of sexual misconduct. Michael Key posted videos sharing his experience on Twitter last week. In them, he alleges Assistant Dean DeMarcus Cruz touched him and made verbal sexual advances. Key spoke at a press conference Monday.
What I want to say is not just DeMarcus Cruz, and I would like parents to just be aware of the people in these institutions who are doing things like this. And my concerns are just like with Morehouse specifically, just Title IX not doing their job, and administration not being there for the students, instead being there for the administration. So those are my concerns with Morehouse, but it's happening at all universities, all historically black colleges and universities.
Cruz has been placed on administrative leave. Morehouse also announced it was expanding its investigation to include other unnamed employees. In a statement Monday, the college said it will, quote, take the necessary action to protect the safety of its students. Eric Sturgis joins us now from Atlanta. He is a reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Eric, thanks so much for joining us. Social media was flooded with complaints from other students following Michael Key's tweets. What impact did this have on Key's allegations?
Good evening. It really has helped the student in this instance because Morehouse immediately decided that they were starting an investigation into this, and then the following day they announced that they were going to expand their investigation to look into more employees, unnamed employees at this point.
Well, Morehouse College said a third party is investigating Key's complaint. What is the latest on that front?
The college did announce that Monday after the press conference, and they said that they will be looking into this, and they said they will be vigorously looking into all allegations of sexual misconduct against any employees.
Well, we heard a little bit from Key there. What is he hoping will actually come from this investigation?
There are several things that I think he and his attorneys are looking into. One is possible criminal allegations against Mr. Cruz. They believe that some of the actions that he took, that they allege that he took, constitute assault, and they want criminal charges against him. They are also discussing possible litigation against the college.
Well, what does it say about the school potentially here that so many alleged instances of sexual misconduct have gone unaddressed? And what does it suggest about its ability to handle similar instances in the future?
Well, there has been some conversation. There's been a lot of turnover in their office that would handle those types of cases. And that is additionally, that is one of the things that Mr. Key would like to see. They would like to see their office that investigates Title IX complaints beefed up. And this comes right at the, as the semester is about to begin. And it also comes at a time that Morehouse has, announced several months ago that they will be creating a policy to accept transgender students at the start of the 2021 school year. So it does come at a pretty interesting time for the college.
Well, if it does turn out that these allegations are true, that the college ignored complaints, can the school face any repercussions?
They could face additional litigation, and I guess they could face some action from the U.S. Department of Education.
Well, what kind of changes do you think the college will have to make to regain the trust of the community?
I think it'll have to start with possibly hiring more employees in their investigative offices. I think it will also come. I think there are a lot of people who are paying a lot of attention to it. Additionally, particularly students. So I think that they will have to have more conversations about, sexual misconduct, and their student orientation starts in a couple of weeks. So I think that'll probably be an important part of the conversation when students arrive on campus.
Yeah, a lot of people watching this case closely. Eric Sturgis. Eric, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. I am attorney Tiffany Simmons, the owner of Simmons Law, and myself and attorney Corey Martin of Martin and Associates. We are here and we represent Mr. Michael Keys. The order of today, we are going to tell you all what we want from Morehouse College. We are going to give you small details of where we stand with the case, and then we're going to take questions from the media because we're sure you have questions. I come here today standing with my client, Mr. Keys, because this is a disgrace. that Morehouse has allowed this to happen to not only my client, but other clients in similar situations. My client, he is planning on filing a suit against Morehouse College. We also plan to pursue criminal as well as civil charges against DeMarcus Cruz. The things that we want from Morehouse College is we want change. Of course, we are going to look at talking with Morehouse College about settlements, but we want change because this has happened too many times to my client as well as other students. Some of the claims that we are bringing against Morehouse College is violation of Title IX, negligent hiring and retention of Mr. Cruz. We also are looking at criminal charges against Mr. Cruz. We're looking at simple assault. We're looking at battery. We're looking at stalking, terroristic threats and acts, and again, the violation of Title IX. I would like to share with you all that my client, he was very courageous in sharing what has happened to him at this institution where he went for higher learning and education. He did not come from Chicago, Illinois to be assaulted. He did not come to from Chicago, Illinois to Atlanta to be stalked, to be harassed, or to be assaulted at the hands of a school official in whom he should have had trust in. We have his mother here, and I would like to allow her to speak to you all.
I just want to.
Ma'am, what is your name?
Hi, my name is Selena.
Okay, spell that for us.
Salena. I'm Michael Key's mom. I don't really have much to say right now. I want justice for my son. I want justice for all the students at Morehouse that had to face this. I feel like Morehouse has failed us as parents. I feel like Morehouse has failed the students. I want to see change. I want to see change. I want to see justice.
Can you just give us your last name? Is it Key?
Brewer is my last name.
Brewer?
Yes.
How do you spell that, please?
Brewer.
My client and other students deserve to feel safe on the campus. They deserve to feel heard. My client should not have had to go to Twitter after he has already made his complaints to the school, which did nothing. Michael was impacted by the misconduct of Mr. Cruz. He was impacted by the misconduct of Morehouse College and their inaction until he went to Twitter. He had the courage to share his story, not only with his family, not only with the school, but ultimately he shared his story with the world. And that's very hard to do. Michael was impacted by Morehouse's failure to act. And he had the courage, again, to share Me Too. What's the remedy for justice in this case? Again, a dollar amount is not necessarily the only remedy that we're looking at. We're looking at change. For a school that's going to allow transgender students to register in 2020, if you're already doing this to students now, how are you going to make them safer? So I would welcome Morehouse to call me, contact Simmons Law, contact Martin and Associates, and not reach out to our client, because I'm sure they've heard that he has retained counsel. My client has also expressed his desire for going to school at another institution. That's something that we have to look at as well. We've also posted a GoFundMe account for my client as he has to deal with this situation of leaving this institution, as well as the legal side of what's going to take place. Are there any questions or comments?
Well, Mr. Key, if we could ask you about the response you've gotten since you came forward last week on social media.
It's been a lot of support. A lot of support from my Morehouse brothers, Spellman sisters, along with Clark brothers and sisters. It's something that I didn't know that a lot of people experience, especially a lot of men experience. So a lot of people have told me like I've inspired them. They've called me things such as like hero, and they've also told me their stories and told me how I was able to help them come out about their stories.
And are you hearing from other students who have similar complaints against the same administrator or against other administrators, or what are you hearing now?
Yes, I'm hearing complaints that they had complaints from both DeMarcus Cruz and other administrators in the school.
And now Morehouse is now saying that this particular administrator has been suspended.
Yes.
And they're investigating.
Correct.
Is that enough for you? I mean, what else can they do?
That is not enough for my client and the other students. They deserve better from an institution that has known of Mr. Cruz's actions and others' actions. So they deserve better than this. What we want more, we want them to change the administration, change the programs. We need them to do some internal investigations and change how things are handled as it pertains to student safety and student issues.
I was curious, like, what prompted you to post those messages on Twitter? And what was the breaking point?
I woke up one morning and I just started crying, and my mom and my dad were in the garage, and I started walking outside in the rain, and I sent my mom a message saying that I didn't want to be here anymore, meaning in this world. And so I said that I was walking in the rain, I was crying. My mom called me back, and they just had a long talk with me, and they just told me everything was going to work out in my favor. And they told me to do what I feel like I need to do. And those words really meant a lot to me. And I went to the gas station, I just recorded the video, and that was just that.
And from what I see on the dates of the Title IX complaint, that was January of 2018.
Correct.
And what's happened since, or what hasn't happened since?
I did speak with the Title IX director the day after, and we also had another meeting after that. But after that, there was nothing else said to me. It was just all swept under the rug.
So what do you make of the fact that after you posted this on social media, then you got a reaction? Is that how it?
That is exactly how it worked. I started to get an email from administration, HR of Title IX, and that's when the school contacted me. And yeah, so that's when I really started to get a reaction from the school after I posted the video, yes.
And I think your attorney has, I'm sorry, one more question. Your attorney has summarized what you'd like to see. What is your concern for other students going forward, whether you're a part of Morehouse or not?
What I want to say is not just DeMarcus Cruz, and I would like parents to just be aware of the people in these institutions who are doing things like this. And my concerns are just like with Morehouse specifically, just Title IX not doing their job, and administration not being there for the students, instead being there for the administration. So those are my concerns with Morehouse, but it's happening at all universities, all historically black colleges and universities. So yes.
And just to follow up, I'm sorry, is that the ultimate good or goal that you hope comes from this, or what? How? The
ultimate goal is for people to tell their stories, and for the people who are in charge of these students, who are supposed to make sure the students safe, who tell the parents that when they leave, they'll make sure they have our backs. I want them to do their job. And if it's whatever the system they're using now isn't working, I want them to change that system and make something that's going to work for the students and not for the administration.
Exactly. Morehouse at this time is choosing image over students, and that is not acceptable.
Good morning, my faithful lawyer YouTube subscribers. Today it is Tuesday, I think it's still July 30th. July 30th, the year is 2018. So, you send your child off to a prestigious black private university, leaving your children in the hands of adults that you think are going to look out for your child's best interest. Your kids are 17, 18, 19 years of age. On arrival, they meet a predator. Not just a predator, but a predator who's in charge of the student housings, the dean of student housing, who proceeds to harass, belittle, touch your child. You report this to the university in an attempt to have this dealt with, and they ignore you. Your child reports it, you report it, and it's ignored. Why? Why did Morehouse ignore these allegations? Well, I can tell you why. It's that chocolate mocha skin we all got. Had these young men been white, these allegations would have been taken far more serious, and that dean would have been dismissed. I love my people. I love my black people, but I know how we treat each other. We don't take each other very seriously at all when it comes to certain things. I can imagine administrators. Oh, he's just joking with you. He's just kidding with you. He's not that. He doesn't mean any harm. Because they're working with this man, so they don't see him as being a sexual predator. But as a black gay man, I can assure you all, I've encountered sexual predators when I was a young man of every type from the moment I entered high school. Administrators, teachers, staff members, all the way up to even when I worked my first jobs, harassed by men who, at that time, I didn't have the strength to confront them about their behaviors. So, see, the Me Too movement just don't cover white women. We have some black men who are being harassed at very young ages by sexual predators who are in positions of power over their lives. And Morehouse made a fatal error here in not correcting and dealing with this issue when this young man presented it to them. And not just him, but several other men also came forward with allegations. And they didn't handle it in the correct way. So now that the media has come out and now that they've gone to the media and exposed the situation, and I pray and hope that many of you are taking this seriously, because this could happen to your child. Sometimes we think, oh, this doesn't happen in black America. You a motherfucking lie. It happens every single day. It's funny, because a lot of people in the gay community, a lot of people in the black community think that a lot of black guys are gay because of child molestation. Funny, because I have a lot of friends who are straight, and they tell me the stories of them being abused sexually by other men in their lives, and they're still straight today. Not just harassed, but sexually molested by people, father, uncle, cousin. But these men are straight. They were never gay. Because these people were in a position of power over them, they were able to sexually molest them, some for years. And I don't know why, but I think a lot of black people, maybe it's because how we view each other. Maybe we view that black men this doesn't happen to them, but it does happen regularly. And I strongly believe this young man and those other men who have come forward with these allegations of what took place at Morehouse, I don't think they would make this up. Morehouse has since fired the dean. It should have been fired a long time ago. Morehouse dropped the ball on this. They should have immediately investigated the situation, immediately dealt with the situation, and not let it have gone on for this length of time that it went on. It wasn't fair to the students who were involved and to the administration. It's just an embarrassment to the school. But I've learned a lot about Morehouse over the years from people I know who work there and students I know who go there. And sometimes you can let the facade of what this institution is. Morehouse is just like any other college and any other university. They have the Morehouse men. They have men, Morehouse men. This doesn't happen to Morehouse men. It can happen to anybody. The strange thing is, back to what I was saying about the guys, the straight guys I know who were sexually molested. Because I'm in the gym all the time, working out. And a lot of people identify as I am an open black gay man. I don't hide my sexuality. And I've had conversations with guys privately, and they say, and they'll tell me what happened. And I'm like, wow. And they're like, well, did this happen to you? No, it never happened to me. I was never sexually molested, or I had some harassment similar to what this young man went through in high school, and in jobs that I had throughout high school. But actually someone actually touching me or sexually molesting me, no. But then they would tell me their stories. It blew me away. My young man had sex with his father for years. His father forced him to have anal sex. He hated gay men for years until he met me. I said, because he felt his father was gay. His father was a sexual predator. Funny part, his father had been in and out of prison and was shot and killed in the midst of a robbery. As to why his mother would allow this man to repeatedly come home from prison and molest her son, because he says his mother knew what was taking place. Now, if you saw this man today, he's a bodybuilder, great shape, he's married, he has children. You would never know his background, that his father was sexually molesting him throughout most of his childhood until his father was shot and killed in the midst of some type of robbery. He was finally set free. But for years, he hated gay guys until we became friends one day at the gym, and I had disclosed to him that I was gay. And he had a million questions. I never understood all these questions. And then finally one day, when we were working out together, he started to tell me his story. Then I understood. So, before you all go out, because I've read some comments of people attacking these young men who've come forward. The same thing when these young men came forward with Eddie Long. It was disheartening to me, the comments that people were making about those young men. Those young boys who were teenagers at the time. Eddie Bishop Long started his grooming of them for his own personal use. It's kind of odd. It's just sad to me that we view black men differently than we do white folks. Because there was a big scandal up north at a school where this coach went to prison for many years for sexually molesting young men. And I remember reading any of those comments from anyone attacking those students. But I've read so many comments of black folks going after these young men who've come forward that is shocking to me. Instead, it's indicative, and it shows our intelligence and how we view each other. Those men deserve their day in court. They're not lying on that man. Just like those young boys who were involved in the situation with Bishop Eddie Long. It should never have happened under any circumstances, but it did happen. And if you're not standing by these young men, something's wrong with you. And you need to slap the shit out your damn self. Just haul off and punch the shit in your damn nose because you're ignorant. If that was your child or your son, and he came and told you, Mom, this is what took place at this prestigious university that I have always wanted to attend, how would you handle that? Put yourself in their shoes. And for Morehouse to have not done anything and to ignore this young man's issues is sad to me. And now you have all these other students that have come forward who are also similarly harassed by the same man, and if I'm correct, maybe other people there. I wouldn't be surprised. Sexual predators always go after where they can prey on victims. And they like them young. See, can't nobody prey and molest on my big black 49-year-old as they get their skull bust open. You know? They know I'll pick up something and knock them across their motherfucking head and take my chances in the Fulton County courtroom. But these young kids, they're coming out of different environments, coming out of high school, never been harassed like this, never experienced this type of stuff, can be very damaging to them, and they really don't know what to do. How do you handle this? Because I'm a man, and this man is saying this stuff to me, and I'm not gay. Why is he doing this? How do you handle it? He handled it the correct way by reporting it to senior staff members and to Morehouse. Morehouse just didn't handle it the correct way. They ignored it. A lot of you all don't know this. There's a huge HIV crisis going on at Morehouse University. Nobody's discussing it. You have a large gay population at Morehouse. A lot of these guys, probably within a million years, would never know they were gay. They come to Morehouse from various states. They kick into the school. They have sexual relationships with another student there, and they end up HIV positive. But it's not discussed. Morehouse has not handled this situation. Instead of setting up a HIV clinic in the school, getting these young men on medications so they cannot pass this disease to other people, reinforcing safe sex to these students, they've just ignored it and pretended as if, oh, well, we really don't have gay students here. They have a crisis over there, but you ain't heard nothing about it, and you won't hear nothing about it. And it's not just at Morehouse, it's at a lot of black schools. But they're not discussing it, and they're not talking about it, and they don't want to deal with it, and they're not going to deal with it until they're forced to deal with it. Just like someone's forcing them to deal with it now. The young man was listening to the police with those reports. I believe he transferred to another school. He's not going back to Morehouse. He gave up on that dream because it turned into a nightmare. But I personally myself know several people who contracted HIV from other students at Morehouse, and Morehouse did not handle it in any way, which way. So these students knew they were positive, had unprotected sex with new students, infected them. This is in Young's College University. This is the Morehouse men. And it was not handled properly. But, that's how we view each other. Morehouse really cared about those men. They would have had an HIV clinic. I think in recent years, they've now started to kind of slowly but quietly address the HIV problem at the school. Quietly. Bringing in testing facilities. Bringing in facilities to do more testing. And letting kids know that they are HIV. Black folks have really, really, really dropped the ball on the HIV crisis in our community. I don't know why, but we have. And we've allowed this disease to manifest into something that's over the years is going to